Live from our headquarters at Asmara with your domestic and international news in brief. I'm Zahra Badouri. Dear viewers, it's exactly 10:30 p.m. on Eritrea's local time from our headquarters at Asmara, again with your English and domestic and international news. I'm Zahra Badouri, but first we'll begin with your major headlines for this broadcast. Blood reserves of National Blood Transfusion Service increased by 35. Calls for sustainability of organizing Law Week. Southeastern Africa cyclone Freddy, death toll rises. Iraq and Iran sign deal to tighten border security. Welcome to your domestic in brief. The National Blood Transfusion Service stated that blood collected in the year 2022 was 35% higher than the previous year. Mr. Mahari Abraha, head of the Blood Donation Service at the National Blood Transfusion Service, indicated that in the year 2022, 14,578 units of blood was collected from voluntary donors compared to the 10,807 units of blood that was collected in the year 2021. Speaking to ERi-TV, Mr. Mahari commended the National Voluntary Blood Donors, members of the National Association of Voluntary Blood Donors, for their commendable contribution. Finally, Mr. Mahari noted that the blood collected after ensuring its safety in a series test in laboratories is distributed to 29 hospitals throughout the country. The residents of various cities and towns in Gashbarka region underlining the timeliness of the National Law Week that was conducted last week and significance in raising the awareness of the society on law called for its sustainability on annual basis. The residents stated that the National Law Week that was conducted from 13 to 18 March nationwide have raised their understanding and awareness on law. The objective of the National Law Week that was conducted under the theme Law for Human Dignity and Development was to raise the awareness of the public and ensuring the sustainability and continuity of identifying laws, and order of the Eritrean public, as well as ensuring active and comprehensive participation of every citizen. The National Law Week concluded for free legal advice to the public, general knowledge competitions programmed by the national media outlets, environmental sanitation activity, as well as virtual programs focusing on diaspora nationals and presentations of research papers. A buzzer which received wide acclamation by visitors was also organized at Liberty Avenue in Asmara in connection with the second National Law Week. Various development programs focusing on soil and water conservation, constructions of and environmental sanitation activities are being conducted in Ad-Daqiq, May'aini, and Tessenei subzones, respectively. According to reports, residents of Hainaba administrative area Ad-Daqiq subzone are involving in extensive soil and water conservation activities, terracing and construction, and renovation of water diversion schemes. Speaking to ERi-TV, Mr. Jamal Muhammad Shifa, area administrator of Hainaba, stated that terraces of various types have been constructed over 120 acres of farmland in Hashmaleh, and that 12 kilometers dirt road connecting Ad-Daqiq and Ubakald had been renovated, and 15,000 holes have been dug from tree planting. Moreover, residents of May'aini administrative area and members of the Eritrean Defense Force in the area are involving in the construction of the courtyard of schools in the subzone, according to Mr. Birhan Hagos, administrator of Sar'a administrative area. Similarly, in Tessenei subzone, residents are involving in environmental sanitation activity. Mr. Futsum Darras, head of the health in the subzone, reported. Up next with your global report, do stay tuned for more. And on your reports on the international line, the death toll in the southeastern Africa due to the exceptionally long-lasting tropical cyclone Freddy has raised to 522, according to authorities in Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Madagascar. Disaster management authorities in Malawi, which has been hit the hardest by the cyclone, reported on Saturday that the death toll there has risen to 438. Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera declared a 14-day national mourning period on Thursday. There are hundreds of evacuation centers set up across the country for survivors, with tens of thousands in Malawi left homeless and approximately 345,000 people affected by the heavy rains, floods, and landslides. The cyclone left a trail of devastations in Southeast Africa, neighboring Mozambique and the island nation of Madagascar have also been affected. In Mozambique, at least 67 people died, according to President Felipe Nyusi, with 50,000 more displaced. It is expected that the death toll in both nations will continue to climb. At least 14 people were killed in the island nation of Madagascar. Cyclone Freddy decepted over land late Wednesday after it made a second landfall in Mozambique and then Malawi over a week and caused mass devastations in several regions, including Malawi's financial capital, Ballantine. On your final report, Iraq and Iran have signed a border security agreement, a move Iraqi officials say is aimed primarily at tightening the frontier with Iraq's Kurdish region, where Tehran says Kurdish arms groups poses a threat to security. Sunday's joint security agreement includes coordination in protecting the common borders between the two countries and consolidating cooperation in several security fields. A statement from the Irani Prime Minister's office, Iran's Supreme National Security Council Secretary Ali Shamkhani signed the deal with Iraqi's National Security Advisor Qasim al-Harji in the presence of Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed al-Sudani, the Prime Minister's office report. According to Iran's state news agency IRNA, Shamkhani denounced, in quotation, vicious activities by counter-revolutionary elements in northern Iraq, a reference to the Kurdish group operating in the country. Iraqi's semi-autonomous Kurdish region hosts camps and rare bases operated by several Iranian Kurdish factions, which Iran has accused of serving Western and Israeli interests in the past. The frontier, however, came into renewed focus last year when Iran's Revolutionary Guard launched missiles and drone attacks against Iranian Kurdish groups based in northern Iraq, accusing them of fronting protests that were sparked by the death of an Iranian Kurdistan woman, while she was being held in police custody. After the Iranian strikes, Iraq in November announced it would redeploy federal guards on the border between Kurdistan and Iraq and Iran, rather than leaving the responsibility to Kurdish Peshmerga forces, a move welcomed by the state capital, Tehran. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your reports for this broadcast. But until we are back with some more news, stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. But until then, these are a recap of your exclusives for this broadcast. On your domestic blood reserves of National Blood Transfusion Service. Calls for sustainability of organizing Law Week and more on your domestic. On your global news, Cyclone Freddy death toll in southeastern Africa surpasses 500. And Iran and Iraq sign a deal to tighten border security. Thanks for watching once more. That is all for now, and thanks Have a nice one.